Dear students, good evening. Welcome to Excellence IAS. Let us start the discussion on today's editorial, that is 13th October 2022. The first article for discussion, the war against illegal goods. What are the illegal goods? These are the smuggled goods which are not or which have not paid the taxes in India. These are cheaper, that's why Indians are looking at them. In this case, the market size is close to 2,60,000 crore rupees. The major source of these goods is China. In this, what are the reasons? Porous borders. With countries that have free trade agreement, we also have place of origin rules. So these goods bypass that particular country and enter into India through a third country. And high taxation in India also makes goods very expensive. The customs department, it do not have the necessary capabilities to enforce the rules to identify these smuggled goods and also to arrest the people. So what has to be done? What are the consequences of this? The government is losing heavy money, that is tax losses. Second is there is a employment loss, huge employment loss for Indians as the as the manufacturing is shifting away from India. And what is the way forward? We need to make our goods cheaper in India. So tax rationalization is an important way. We have to move towards heavy taxes to smart taxation in comparison with other countries. Second is India-specific pricing. If you see the medical textbooks, the pricing in the United States of America is different and in India is different. So we have to encourage the multinational companies to give India-specific prices based on the affordability over here. And next is profit repatriation. So whatever the profit which has been earned, it shall not be taken back to the other country and it has to be stationed in this country for a minimum period. Like these rules have to be brought in. China has such a rule on profit repatriation. We need a forest-led COP27. So COP26 suffers from technological determinism. What is this technological determinism? So COP26 believed that technology can solve the problems of climate change. And for all the problems, technology is the single shot solution. This is what we described as technological determinism. So entire climate talks today suffer from this technological determinism. So either you talk about non-emitting electricity, carbon capture and storage, all these depend upon this technology. In this process, what we have ignored is natural sinks, biodiversity, and forests. So that's where more than monocropping, we have to grow the diverse forests and encourage the natural sinks that can solve the problems of climate change better rather than going through technology or running after technology. That is the essence of this article. The court and the problem with its collegium. You know what is collegium? A group of judges will appoint the other judges of the Supreme Court and High Courts. That is what we call it as collegium. The collegium has come into existence during the second judge's case. The collegium is supported in the name of judicial independence. The government has tried to bring in, legislature tried to bring in NJAC, National Judicial Appointments Commission, with the 3 judges, law minister, and 2 eminent people, so who represents the society. But Supreme Court declared it as unconstitutional. In these circumstances, what are the problems with the collegium? We have to understand. The system is highly opaque. And next is, whatever happens over there, either they appoint or do not appoint. If collegium does the work or do not do the work, no one is able to question them. So there is no accountability on part of the collegium. And next is the judicial primacy is established in the judicial appointments. Across the countries, if you observe, the legislature and executive has a role in the judicial appointments. In case of India, the judiciary is totally isolated from executive and legislature in its own appointments. Obviously, it is weakening the checks and balances that are existing in the system. If you see the qualified people who can be appointed as Supreme Court judges, one of the thing is President can appoint an eminent jurist as a Supreme Court judge. In India, appointing the eminent jurists as Supreme Court judges is not happening. Most of the Supreme Court judges are coming from the ranks of High Court judges. So outside jurists also shall be brought into the judicial system to make it open and inclusive. That is what the essence of this article is. unfilled vacancies, stagnant workforce, delay in RTI replies. You can use this in the transparency chapter or RTI chapter. What are the major problems of RTI in India? So in this case, there is a case study, Satarak Nagarik Sangatan findings. So the organization name, again I am stating Satarak Nagarik Sangatan. What it says is the pending cases as on 30th June 2022 are 3,14,323. So that is huge. Pendency is the major problem in the working of RTI Act. And second is the case load is increasing day by day. So the number of cases resolved are very slow, are very less, but the number of new cases coming are very high. So if you take the West Bengal Information Commission, the time required to clear all pending cases is around 24 years. Finally, many of the information commissions are defunct. Example, Jharkhand and Tripura. The capabilities of the staff are very poor. In many of the states, public information officers are not being appointed, and also information commissions do not have sufficient manpower. So when we are writing an answer on RTI, you can use Satarak Nagarik Sangatan findings in exposing the weakness in the implementation of RTI. This is how you can use this information. Let's recollect what we have discussed. What are the challenges of Collegium? Opaque, lack of accountability. And that is Satarak Nagarik Sangatan. What are the findings we saw with regard to RTI? And then COP27, unlike COP26, as to focus on natural things, reforestation, biodiversity, etc. to reduce carbon emissions. And the first article which we saw is about smuggling, illegal goods, loss of employment, loss of tax, restructuring the taxes. Smart taxation is the answer for this. These are the points we need to take towards the examination today. Thank you. Good night.